Welcome to Cards Unboxed. Today we're looking at the Remedies Playing Cards, a collaboration between Daniel Madison and Daniel Schneider, printed by United States Playing Card Company. This deck's available in red, green and blue. I'm unboxing the red variant. The tuck case is a satin finish card with a minimalist design featuring Schneider's rose, which can be seen in his black rose decks, and the design also features a feather which represents Madison's Raven Charlie. This combination of feather and rose carries across not just on the front of the case but also makes up the rear of the card design, which is displayed on the rear of the tuck with the white border too. On the bottom of the case we have the name of the deck, the Remedies. Then we've also got the Madison and Schneider names and the USPCC info as you would normally find. On the top we have a miniature rose and feather and the collaborators' names again. And then hidden in the tuck flap there's a little message that says we cannot recover from who we are. And then on the side flaps we see the initials for Daniel Madison and Daniel Schneider as well. This deck comes with multiple Gaff cards instead of advertising cards, which is a smart move considering the target audience for the deck. Madison recently said himself that ad cards and jokers are pretty redundant these days, so it makes more sense to get better use out of them. The first Gaff we see is the Angle 0 card. Here's a link to Daniel Madison's YouTube video showing how you use it. On the reverse of that is the Ace of Spades, which gets used as part of the Angle 0 trick, but can also just be used as a general everyday duplicate if you handle it right. Now it's also a good point to have a really good nose at that rear design. The second Gaff is an additional King of Diamonds. This one features Daniel Madison, and you might be able to see if you look closely where my thumbs are, he's actually holding a reveal. There's also a second King of Diamonds. This one is Daniel Schneider, and he's holding an entirely different reveal. I suppose you can take your pick which one stays in the deck most. We seemingly have two identical jokers featuring Charlie and holding a rose, again a nod to both creators in one image, but they're not actually identical. One of them, again, has a hidden reveal if you have a good look at it. The deck comes in a slightly different order to the norm, as the deck is set up spades, hearts, clubs, then diamonds, ace to king throughout. If I was speculating, I'd say this was so it was easier to create the advocate index, but there's probably a much simpler explanation for it. Note all the number faces are standard except for the fact they've got red ink which is slightly darker, and on this deck it just happens to mirror the tuck and the rear colour. Only the Ace of Spades is custom for this particular deck, but it does have a prominent red pip rather than black, and it includes the We Cannot Recover From Who We Are strapline that's also featured on the tuck flap. The courts, very much like previous Madison decks, are all re-illustrated to include the faces of his friends, and as we already know there's a King of Diamonds for Madison himself and a King of Diamonds for Schneider. The back design of this deck is just begging to be spun and flourished, so it will appeal to cardists as well as magicians. They handle fantastically well and they spread really well even on a slick surface like I'm using here. It's hard to deny the effort that Daniel Squared have gone to make this deck. It's no surprise that they're so popular. They look premium, they're high quality and they're packed full of features, so overall you get a lot of value and usability out of a single deck. Let me know your thoughts on this deck, leave a comment below, smash that subscribe button and give a like too. And don't forget to head over to my Instagram account @cards_unboxed to see more images of this deck and all the other decks I've unboxed so far.